Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on the View from the Crowd YouTube channel, and today we are going to be looking at the Champions League and the Europa League draws. I know, it's incredible, it's non-F1 content, it's something I've rarely seen on this channel, even though it's supposed to be a sports channel, but hey ho, football, it's like the other sport that I really cover. But yeah, over the last 2 days we've had the Champions League and the Europa League draws for the 2020-21 season, and today we're going to have a little look at the groups, see which groups I think are going to be the best, and see who I think will be the two teams progressing from each group in both the Champions League and the Europa League. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, we start off Group A of the Champions League, and in Group A we have Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, RB Salzburg and Lokomotiv Moscow. Now, that is not a bad Group A. Bayern Munich, of course, the reigning champions. Atletico Madrid are very good. A Spanish side who have recently just signed Luis Suarez, who has always been a very good player in the Champions League, especially for Barcelona. Be definitely interesting to see how he will fare at his new club, especially after being at Barca for so long. But I reckon this could be a really, really good group, and I cannot wait to see which one of Bayern or Atletico will prevail. I have a sneaking suspicion it might be Bayern Munich, but who knows? Of course, you've got the other two teams of RB Salzburg and Lokomotiv Moscow that are really not going to be fancying their chances, really, of getting anywhere probably beyond the group stages of the Champions League this season. So, straight off the bat, I think it's going to be probably Bayern who top the group, Atletico who finished second, and we move straight on to Group B. In Group B, we have Real Madrid, Shakhtar Donetsk, Inter Milan, and Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, I think it's going to be a really, really tough group. Maybe not so for Real Madrid. I think Real Madrid are probably going to be the ones who top that group. But the battle for second place, I think, could be very, very interesting. Shakhtar Donetsk have always been a pretty solid Champions League side there most seasons, and they do a fairly good job. They haven't really got to the round of 16 very often, but I think this could be their best chance in quite a while. You then got Inter Milan, who are looking strong under Antonio Conte. I guess you could kind of call it Premier League reject FC, but yeah, I think they could be definitely a very interesting team to look out for. And then Borussia Mönchengladbach, I think, are a very solid team. I think they did a great job to qualify for the Champions League this season. So I think the battle for second place is going to be incredibly interesting between Shakhtar, Inter and Borussia Mönchengladbach. And honestly, if I was going to put my money on it, I would probably say Inter Milan for that second place. But I think that could be incredibly close and fairly unpredictable from Group B. Group C is FC Porto, Manchester City, Olympiacos and Olympique Marseille. Again, kind of like Group B, Man City are going to be the ones who are expected to go up from that group. That is no real sort of contest there. Man City always seem to get easy draws in the Champions League. You know, no matter how much City fans do complain to UEFA, especially around all their sort of financial fair play sort of stuff, and they boo the Champions League anthem every single game, they sure do get a lot of easy Champions League group draws. So yeah, maybe wind that in a bit, City fans. But definitely City will be the ones who are the favourites to qualify top from Group C. And then out of Porto, Olympiacos and Marseille, I think, as I said, like Group B, that could be very tight. You know, Porto, a very, very good Portuguese side. Olympiacos, again, another very good Greek side. And Marseille, another very, very good French side. So it's been a difficult one to predict who I think would go through from this group. But honestly, I think I'd give it to Porto. I think Porto could just have that edge over Marseille and Olympiacos. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see. But very close. But I think Manchester City top, Porto second. Group D, we have Liverpool, Ajax, Atalanta, and it's Midtjylland. I don't know, but I think it's fairly obvious who the two teams are going to go through. It is going to be Liverpool and Ajax. However, I'm not sure who's going to finish top either out of Ajax or Liverpool. I think it could possibly be Liverpool. Ajax have, they've lost a lot of their young stars recently, and they're not quite the team that got to the semi-final, 2 seasons ago. So I think they may struggle a little bit more than we used to. Of course, they did finish top of their group last year when they had Chelsea in their group, and they weren't brilliant against Chelsea either time. And I think Liverpool could probably definitely do a lot better job than Chelsea did on pushing past Ajax. So Group D, I'm going to go Liverpool to top the group, Ajax finish second. Now on to Group E, we have Sevilla, Chelsea, Krasnodar and Stade Rennais. Now, I don't think it's too difficult to see who the two teams that are going to be going through in this group, but it's probably going to be Chelsea and Sevilla. However, I think it could be really tough fought between Chelsea and Sevilla. Who is going to top this group? Of course, Chelsea have brought in a lot of new signings this season. A lot of them played Champions League football before. Timo Werner did an amazing job in the Champions League last season, and then of course Kai Havertz with Leverkusen has some experience in the Champions League. But I think this could genuinely be a really tight group for Chelsea and Sevilla. I think it will definitely come down to the games between those two teams on who will top the group. If I want to sound too biased, but I do think it might be Chelsea who come out on top. I think it is more than possible for either Sevilla or Chelsea to win all 6 games in the group stages. It would just be a kind of a battle between those two who gets it. But I'm going to go Chelsea and then Sevilla to be the top 2 in Group E. In Group F, we have Zenit St. Petersburg, Borussia Dortmund, Lazio and Club Brugge. And now, I think this is a really, really good group. I think we can get to see some great football. Borussia Dortmund have looked amazing this season. They've got Sancho, Haaland, Bellingham. Even though he's a young lad from Birmingham, he has been doing really, really well at Dortmund so far, and I expect him to continue that going forward. Lazio have always been a decent Italian side. Zenit, of course, with a seeded team coming into this, being the champions of Russia. Club Brugge is probably the only team that I'm pretty certain won't be the one progressing into the next round. But if I was stick my head on the chopping block a bit, I'm going to put Dortmund going to top the group with Lazio being the other team to go through. Now on to Group G, you have Juventus, Barcelona, Dynamo Kiev and Ferencvaros? I think so. I think a lot of people are definitely looking forward to Group G for the fact that we are going to see the return of Cristiano Ronaldo versus Lionel Messi. Of course, Cristiano at Juventus and Messi somehow still at Barca. It's honestly incredible to me that he stayed. But this could definitely be a very interesting group. Of course, it's likely going to be Juve and Barcelona being the two teams going through. But with all this struggle that Barcelona have been going through, they're not really the team that we used to seeing, of course, as we saw when they got absolutely annihilated 8-2 by Bayern Munich in last season's Champions League. So I'm going to go with Juventus to top the group, with Barcelona finish second, and I cannot wait to see the return of Ronaldo versus Messi. Finally, on to Group H, and now we have Paris Saint-Germain, Manchester United, RB Leipzig and Istanbul Başakşehir. Now, I think this is an amazing group. I think a lot of people have tipped this to be the toughest group, and unfortunately for Istanbul, they've been put in a group with 3 very, very, very good sides. Paris Saint-Germain, we know, Champions League finalists last season, just couldn't beat the might of Bayern to win the trophy. Manchester United had a very, very strong end to last season, looking a bit iffy this season, but Champions League is a whole other ball game. And then you have RB Leipzig, a team that did amazingly well in the Champions League last season. This, I think, is going to be really, really interesting. I'm going to say that it's probably going to be Paris are the safe bets for the one to go through, but out of Manchester United and RB Leipzig, I am really, really struggling to really tell which team is going to go through. I am tempted to kind of go with Leipzig, just based on how United have had a very shaky start to this season, but I really couldn't tell. But I'm going to say it. Top of the group, Paris Saint-Germain. Second place, RB Leipzig. Don't kill me, United fans. So that's that. That is all 8 groups in the Champions League. I think it could be a really good Champions League this season. It will definitely be interesting to see if Bayern can continue to dominate Europe like they did last year. It's been a while since we had a back-to-back winner of the Champions League, so it certainly will be interesting to see how Bayern get along. I'm interested to see how Atletico do, especially against Bayern with the sort of the new signing, and especially see how Luis Suarez is adapting to that Atletico team. Of course, naturally, I'm going to be looking out for Chelsea and really hoping that we can top our group and really push on in the Champions League this year. We didn't do brilliantly last year, and I hope for a lot better. United, that's a hell of a group in Group H. It'd definitely be interesting to see how they get along. Liverpool, I don't think should have too worries in the group stages. I think it's the knockout rounds where we'll see just what Liverpool are made of this season. Manchester City, exactly the same thing. Pep's still going to be wanting to go after that Champions League trophy with Manchester City, but I'm not sure he's going to get there again this year. It just haven't looked the best. But that's enough with the Champions League. We're done with that now. We're now going to be moving on to the Europa League, and because there are 12 groups in the Europa League, and let's be honest, most of you could not give a toss about the Europa League. I'm going to be only sticking to the groups with British teams in it, and well, luckily there's quite a few British teams, so we'll just crack on with the first group, which have a British team in it, and that is Group B. So in Group B we have Arsenal, Rapid Wien, Molde and Dundalk. Seriously, Arsenal should have no issue in this group whatsoever. I think they've been drawn quite a nice hand in the Europa League this year, and I do expect them to top that group quite easily. And considering I really have no knowledge on the other 3 teams, it'll be hard for me to predict who's second, so I'm going to take a 1 in 3 chance, and I'm going to go with Molde, because my guess is probably as good as a lot of other people's guess. Now, next one with the British team is Group D with Benfica, Standard Liège, Rangers and Lech. Now, I think this is going to be a very difficult group for Steven Gerrard's Rangers side. Benfica and Standard Liège, very, very good teams, very solid teams. Got a lot of Europa League experience. Rangers just never seem to be able to compete on that European stage in recent years, and I think it's going to be a very difficult group for them to get through. I honestly don't think Rangers will get through. I think it will be Benfica and Standard Liège being the 2 teams who will progress from that group. But yeah, unfortunate, because you kind of want Steven Gerrard to do well as a manager, but I just don't think Rangers and Scottish football in general is just on that level to compete in European football just yet. Now we move on to Group G with FC Braga, Leicester, AEK and Zorva Luhansk. I don't see any issue in actually Leicester progressing from this group. I think they definitely have the quality. They've started off the Premier League season very brightly this year, and I think they could possibly top that group. I think they could definitely do the business over Braga. Of course, Braga have always been an established sort of European side, competing in both Europa League and Champions League. So I definitely think that it's going to be tough for them to beat them, but I reckon they could do it. I genuinely think that Leicester could top that group, and I'm gonna say so. I'm going to say Leicester to beat Braga in that group and progress into the round of 32. Now to Group H, we have Celtic, Celta Prague, AC Milan and LOSC Lille. That is one hell of a group. Even for the Europa League, that is one hell of a group. And I think Celtic are going to find it very difficult. They come into that as a top-seeded team, but it's AC Milan. Come on, I know they've sort of lost their bravado of what they were, maybe 10, 15 years ago, but it's still AC Milan at the end of the day. And I don't know how many of you seen what it took AC Milan to get into this. Well, to get into the Europa League, but it was a 24, penalty shootout. That was pretty crazy to watch. But then they're against, Sparta Prague, LOSC Lille, 2 very, very good sides. That is going to be one hell of a group. I think Group H is definitely the group to watch in the Europa League, because that is filled with very, very good sides. it'll be certainly interesting to see how Celtic get on in that group. Now we get on to the final group in the Europa League with any British team, which is Group J, which has Tottenham, Ludogorets, LASK and Royal Antwerp. Now, it pains me to say it, but I don't see any problem with Tottenham going through in this group. I think they're going to probably top it quite easily, and I think Jose will be very, very keen on getting that Spurs side far in the Europa League. Of course, they did brilliantly in the Champions League last season, but they're going to have to really push on. It's been a tough qualifying for Tottenham, and they're definitely going to be wanting to push on as much as they can in this competition, get as far as possible, and potentially even win it. The one thing, of course, it's one thing getting through the group stage of the Europa League, and then you've got to deal with all the Champions League dropouts that come in to join the competition in the round of 32. But I think Tottenham will definitely be up to the challenge. But you look around and there's a lot of good teams. You've got Napoli, you've got Bayern Leverkusen, you've got Roma, your Benficas, your AC Milan, your Villarreal. These are teams that play in the Europa League quite a lot and are very, very, very good. So I don't know, what will the effect of Thursday night football be on Tottenham? I don't know, or any of the British teams. The Premier League is such a demanding league, and then to play on a Thursday night, it's always interesting to see what either Tottenham, Leicester or Arsenal are going to be up to, if they're going to be up to that challenge. It's a lot easier to be playing on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night than it is a Thursday night. So it'll be interesting to see how these teams sort of prioritise, if they're going to be going all out in the Europa League. But I think for Leicester, they've got a group which I think they can do very well in, and I think Brendan Rodgers will want to push on and do well. This is only the second time Leicester have been in a European competition. Of course, they were after they won the Premier League, they got through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League under Claudio Ranieri. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see what they can do. And I have a lot of faith in Leicester. I think they can do a very good job. Arsenal and Tottenham, well, my Chelsea bias sort of shines through when I say, Then as for the two Scottish clubs, Celtic, very, very tough group. And I think if they can actually qualify through that group, I think it's going to speak volumes of how they're going to do, further as they get, the further they get in this competition. Rangers, I just don't see it at the moment. I think it'll be good experience for Steven Gerrard to, do this and, press on in the Europa League. But as far as getting through the group stages, I don't think so. So guys, that's both competitions sorted through now. That is both the Champions League and the Europa League. Let me know who you think is going to be the furthest competing British team in both the Champions League and the Europa League. Let me know what you think about my predictions for each group and whether or not, which teams you think are going to go through from each group. Let me know for both the Champions League and Europa League. So guys, that's all from me today. If you don't already follow my blog, the link to that is down in the description below. If you've not subscribed, why don't you subscribe? Make sure to subscribe, and if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like. My name's been Lou Edwards. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, and goodbye.